for people. Maybe we're going to make the video available for them later. Please, if you are on social media, please don't put it on Facebook Live. I will advise you not to put it on Facebook Live. You pay for it. It's a knowledge. Let somebody also come and pay for it. So don't put it on Facebook. Anything you can put on Facebook, I will let you know later. God bless you. Put your hands together, please, to welcome Mrs. Ennie Shonibare. Put your hands together for her, please. God bless you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I always like to give honor to whom honor is due. Thank you, Priest Nick, for giving me this privilege and this opportunity to share about what I've been doing since 2011. Pastor Julie, lovely woman of God, supportive woman of God. Sorry, I have to praise Pastor Joyce, Pastor Julie more than you, because, wow, she does a lot of work behind the scene and make sure the man of God is healthy and, hearty to do the work of God. We appreciate you, and may the Lord continue to strengthen you and give you the desires of your heart. I welcome all the members of Priest Tech and everything that Priest Tech is. Yes, I welcome you all. I welcome all the guests, and I can see that it's only. I see a few children, but I like to say and give information that is relevant to people. So before I say anything, okay, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Ennie Shonibare, and I'm the coordinator of the Gateway and also a ministry called Sister to Sister. The Gateway is a vision. It's not an idea, it's a vision. Everything that I do is always a vision that God gives to me. So the Gateway is a vision God gave to me according to the mountain of assignment that He has called me onto, which is, one of them is, the mountain of education. And the Gateway is birthed from that. And I started that in 2011. I support and pass on information to parents on how to educate their children well in this country. If you know, in Nigeria, a lot of us here, I can actually vouch that a lot of us here were educated like privately. In Nigeria, I come from Nigeria, they had the government schools and they have. I went to a Catholic school, I went to St. Louis Grammar School in Ibadan, and we had all those top schools, and our parents were really proud to send us there. But as parents, we come to this country and everybody just settles for the school next door, and that's it. It's the school next door. And after that, the children go into secondary school. It's the school next door. And then some do well and aspire to go to university, and they go to any university to do any course and come out after about 15, 16, 17 years of education and come back and sit in the home with no job. And they begin to think, what went wrong? A lot went wrong, as they were growing up. And what God gave to me is to enlighten people, especially the ethnic group in this country. Because you see, before your child can achieve as much as what a white child will achieve, your child will have to work at least 10 times harder. Because the thing is, your child can't just be average. So I'm going to give you an example. You've got 3 people with second-class upper looking for jobs. And you've got 3 blacks and you've got 3 whites. If I ask you, who do you think will get the job?
Of course.
The white people will get the job.
Yes, sir. Yes,
obviously.
Yes, ma'am.
Not only because of their qualification, but because, number 1, color, because number 2, relevance, because there's some questions they would ask you at interview. If you have not really grown up with that kind of culture, you wouldn't know how to answer it. And most of us, our children, we bring them up, you know, according to our culture, even how we speak sometimes, you know, the way we speak plain English.
That's right.
You know, and English is, you're an Englishman and an Englishwoman, you speak proper English. So all these things do affect, you know, our children, and also the schools they've been to. They start looking at a CV from secondary school. So you might come out first class, your CV can still go in the bin. Because they look at it from the secondary school. Oh, you went to this school. What? Yeah, she's brilliant, but she's one of the brilliant and disciplined person. So the CV might go in the bin. Because they look at where you've been, who has trained you, and what kind of discipline they have. If you know now in the workplace, they got no time to be training nobody for a long time. So they look. Yeah, you've gone to a disciplined secondary school, you know what you're doing. You've gone to uni, you know what you're doing. You've come out as a graduate. Yes, they want you because they know you get on and you do the job. They don't have to train you or start saying, oh, you're not at work when you're supposed to work, to be at work. Work finishes at 5 and 5 you pack your bag and go. They're not looking for people like that. So they get idea from your CV, inviting you to the interview you in a way to get what, you know, they want, and then they offer you a job. But before I go into, you know, all that, so that my information will be very relevant because my time is short, how many people have children that are yet to go into secondary school? So you have children in the primary school, yeah?
Yes.
So we're going to do this together. My pastor there, have you been thinking about secondary school?
Not yet.
Why?
That's a mistake. I thought it was too early.
That's what all the parents tell me. Their children are in year 2, and I ask them, oh, have you been thinking about secondary school? They say, oh no, it's too early. I have some of the gateway candidates there. Both children and parents are the candidate. It's not only the child. So people say, that's the common thing I hear. Oh, it's too early. Ennie, what are you talking about? My child is only in year 1. My child is only in year 2. It's not too early. You need to start thinking about secondary school. And the first thing you think about is, where do I live? And what are the secondary schools around me? And how do I find out if these secondary schools are very good? Now, I'm just going to do summary, because my seminar that I do is 3 hours for the secondary seminar, and it's 3 hours for the higher education seminar. So today is only a summary. So you start thinking, I live in this area. What are the secondary schools around me? What are they achieving? And you go out for a walk when you're on leave one day and see in the morning when they're going to school, how did they go to school? Did they go disciplined? Did they go with sweet in their hand and packet of crisps to go into the school? And when they finish school, how do they present themselves? You know, eating the chips and chicken on the road and doing whatever they please? And you have to start considering, is this really where I want my child to school? So there's a lot of things you have to start thinking, because a lot of people, they move.
That's right, that's right.
They move house, and they move house without thinking about schools. So if your children are still in the primary school and you're thinking of moving, don't make your place of work your priority. Make the school your priority. You can travel.
That's it.
It doesn't matter where you live, but your children need to be educated, you know, properly for them to be able to achieve. So to people who their children are still in primary school, I would employ you the next time I'm having my seminar, which is sometime in February. I would let Pastor Peter know. You can come, it's free. I don't charge for the seminar, because if I charge, people will not come, and if people don't come, they will not gain the knowledge. So I do not charge for my seminar. I ask people to contribute, and I'm used to the £5 and Flora can, yeah, they just contribute £5 and that. But I don't mind. Because the information I give to them is £70 an hour.
Wow.
But this is a calling.
Thank you.
I had a cousin, my own cousin, I'd given her some information and then she went to somebody else and she paid £80 an hour. And it took her 3 years to come to me and say, I'm very sorry, Ennie, that was a waste of money. She didn't even give me half of the information you gave me. And somebody else came to my seminar and said, I paid my sister-in-law £100. And all she was selling to me is her tutorials. And have come here and the information you've given me has set her free. Her son is in a private school in Croydon because she came to the seminar. So my seminar is free. You come, I give you the information free. If you want me to assess your child, I assess your children in your house. Flora can bear witness. Yesterday and the day before, I was in some people's house to assess. I assess your children in your own environment, and that I only charge £20 for that. And why do I charge £20? I'm fueling my car. So, but if you want us to support you until your child gets to secondary school, all we charge is £100 a year.
Wow.
So it is a ministry. The £100 we charge is for us to just be able to rent the hall, we do the seminars to do. At the end of each year, we celebrate our children. We have the celebration of success, which Joel is one of the people in September. We had a party, we presented a gift to them because we have to celebrate our children's successes. If we don't celebrate it, it doesn't motivate them. So in a nutshell, that is what, Gateway does for people in primary school up into secondary school. And then when they're in secondary school, like Joel is in year 7 at the moment, we then continue the support. We begin to put things in place. We begin to tell the parents, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do for your child to achieve. Every child that's gone through Gateway, when they get to their 11th year and their 13th year, they are prefects. They must be a prefect because we teach leadership skills. They must be leaders. They must be class prefects. They must lead.
Wonderful.
So it's like an academy whereby we teach them. And to God be the glory, we have achieved. I'll give one example of a young woman I met. I met her mom. My mom is my friend, and she had just finished her secondary school from Global Academy in South Bermondsey. And her mom said to me, oh, she's been accepted at Haberdashers, which is a good school. She's doing her A-level. So I said to her mom, I said, listen, more can come out of Peckham, I said, we can achieve better with this child. And I said to the mom, let's enroll her in a number of independent schools and see what God will do. Fortunately, the mom at that time was made redundant. So I said to her, fantastic. That's good news.
Got time.
So we put in the application to a number of independent schools. And Queen's College in Regent Street, a top private school, gave her the offer. Her mom was out of job, so we approached them for a bursary. So she was given 100% bursary. This school cost £6,000 per term. And she went there for 2 years, free. And they said, we wish we had her earlier. She went into university, she studied politics. Immediately she came out, King's College said, come and do your master's here. She's finished her master's and now she's on her PhD. That is the achievement. Now I tell you this story because as a black child, as a black woman, she can walk into anywhere. Her color no longer speaks. Her achievement speaks. They're calling her. She's got a job now in the House of Parliament. Let me tell you, our children can achieve and will achieve with hard work and what we're able to do. I started doing this work when my daughter was about to start secondary school. And I looked around, like I said to my pastor there, which secondary school can my child go in this area? I live in Kennington. And I looked at the borough of Sodok. It's not even going to happen. I don't even think it's going to happen. Because even for primary school, when my daughter wanted to go to primary school, and I didn't know how to find my feet in this country when your child wants to go into school. I had no idea that you need to put in an application. So I didn't put any application. And from the post, I got a letter, your child is going to go to John Donne School. I'm like, that's school near my house. That I've been saying they should shut it down. When I go past it, I'm like, is this a school? They should shut it down. And that's the school that my child was offered. So I began to go from primary school to primary school. And ed teachers upon ed teachers began to say to me, Miss Shonibare, what you are expecting us to do with your child, we don't think we can do it here. We don't have so many parents like you here. And I was really frustrated. So I went to my husband and I said, you know what? We need to put holiday aside. We need to forget about building a house in Nigeria. We need to educate this child. So she had to go into a private school for her primary school. And I don't even want to tell you how much that took in our pocket. So when it was secondary school, I thought, because I've done that, then I realized, no. And nobody gave me no information. So the same thing happened when it was time for secondary school. They just, sent us a letter and said, this. And I was like, no, my daughter isn't going to that school. So we now decided, well, we would have to continue in this independent line. So she had to go to independent secondary school. At that point, I made up my mind that, you know what? I have made the sacrifice with this money. I'm not going to allow any other parent to do so. That's how I started this work. That I'm going to give information at the right time for parents in order for them to educate their children well without spending much money. And that's how I began, to do this work. And I thank God that I have, we have a lot of achievements. Time can't permit me, but I can show you. We have our statistics of all the children that passed through Gateway, the ones that went to grammar school, the ones that went to good comprehensive school, the ones that went to independent school and don't have to pay. We have one person at Christ Hospital Osham. He's doing his A-levels. He's a £34,000 a year school. He pays zero. He pays zero. And when you go to some schools, you meet some people there. They put things in you that helps you to achieve. So, in a nutshell, that is what Gateway is all about. And if you have children in secondary school, can I see your hand? Or in sixth form? Okay. So, with that, what Gateway does is, your child is in year 6. It doesn't matter what year they are. We sit with them. I have children coming to the seminar, and then year 8, year 9, they don't know what they want to do. And it's time to pick the subjects. You pick subjects in year 9. And those subjects you pick in year 9 is your future. That's it. That's it. That's what you're going to see for your GCSEs. Out of that is what you're going to see for your A-levels. And you don't know what you want to be. So we have people going into university and they study something and they come out and they say, no, that's not what I want to study. But the big sister of the sister I just told you about went to University of Hull, spent 4 years studying pharmacology, hard course, came out, and then I started speaking. She said, Auntie, you know what? I hate this course. I can't even imagine myself working in this field. I want to work in finance. And I said to her, Funola, why did you waste 4 years? No knowledge is lost, yes.
What?
I can encourage you and say that to you. But I said to her, 4 years. So she started looking for work and saying, you know, like retraining and doing a bit of course and this. And she got a job in the finance world. But guess what? A bit lower than what she should have got. But she now has to work her way up. You know, and then change job as many times as possible so that she's like climbing a step. She's getting there, we thank God. But 4 years of hard study, and you come out and you say, actually, I hate that course.
What a shame.
So what we do for children from year 7, year 8, especially 7, 8, and 9, we sit with them. What is your interest? What do you like doing? What is play to you? And children would say, oh, you know, Auntie, I really like to draw. I like to use my imagination. In future, do you see yourself sitting in an office? Do you see yourself going around? What kind of thing do you think will interest you? And from there, we help them to pick their subjects. And they go and do subjects that they enjoy doing, they like doing, and surely they do well in it. I encourage parents to come to my seminar. My seminar is not a seminar where a child says, I want to be a musician, and I say no. I have a lot of parents say no. Not over my dead body. What, musician? Or football or this? No. My daughter always says something. When my daughter told me she wanted to be a medical doctor, she started saying that from where she was age 6. She would watch obesity and all this hospital accident program were my daughter's favorite subject when she was young. So when she began to say, I want to be a doctor, I began to see, you know, yeah, we can encourage her. But when it was time to go to uni, I sat and I said, why do you want to go and be a doctor? 6 years in university. There's no money there. Why don't you do IT? Because there's money, quick money. She said, Mom, life is not about money, you know.
That's right. That's right.
It's about helping people.
That's right.
And that's what I want to be. Then I said, okay, you want to be a doctor? I said, before you become a doctor, what I'm telling you is what we do in the gateway. So I'm telling you what we do. So I said, you want to be a doctor? Fine. We went to Nigeria on holiday. I went to a hospital and spoke to the director of the hospital. My daughter wants to be a doctor. Can she spend 2 days here? They said yes. So her dad dropped her in the morning and picked her in the afternoon for 2 days. She had the opportunity to speak to doctors, consultants, you know, freshly graduate doctors and so on. She had the opportunity to see the inside of a hospital, you know, all the departments where they do the x-ray. She came out, do you still want to be a doctor? She said yes. It's okay, we came back. I found someone that was doing her housemanship. I took her there, she spoke to her, the challenges, and then she was married, how she has to take her son at 5 a.m. to the nanny because she's going to work. She spoke to consultants. My daughter spoke to about 20 medical practitioners,
Wow.
GPs, whatever you can think of.
Wow.
And she still came out and said, I still want to be a doctor. I said, yes, now you want to be a doctor. Because you've seen it, you've heard it all. And you know the expectation, you know what you need to put in. So, you know, I'd still like you to be IT and make money, but this is what you want to be. And my daughter used to say something in the seminar to people and say, my mom, if I tell my mom I want to be a dancer, my mom will say, fine, but she would make sure I'm the best dancer. She will make sure I go to the top schools where they teach dance.
That's it.
So whatever your child wants to be, it is about finding the best place for them to achieve what they want to achieve.
That's right.
Because what the creativity in them, I think that's what Pastor Peter has been teaching us for a long time. I watch your Facebook a lot. Is that thing inside of you? The Bible says your gift will make way for you. Your talent will make room for you. Let's not kill their talent because we want them to be doctors and engineers and this and that. Not all children.
No.
And not all children are A-star children.
That's right.
We have children that are average children. And what we do is we help them to go higher. We support them in ways where they need support to achieve what they need to achieve. And that's in a nutshell what we do in Gateway. And we have success stories. We have success stories, and parents are now beginning to be inclusive, especially dads. Forgive me, because men sometimes think it's just.
Forgive us too.
It's just the women. Like the home I went yesterday, immediately the man came to the car park, brought me up into the house, and I sat down. His wife and his children were there, and the next thing he left the room and shut the door. So I was like, "Is that your husband?" She said, "Yes." "Is he part of this family?" She said, "Yes." I said, "So why is he not sitting with us concerning the discussion of your children? Can you bring him into the room, please?" So he came. I said, "Sorry, sir, you are part of this family. These children, you'll be at their graduation, isn't it? By God's grace. So let's talk about educating them." So it's a family affair. And I always say this to parents as well. All of you that have children, I'm going to close now because my time is up. I'm going to say one thing. When it's time to study, it is family study.
That's right.
It is so unfair and very ridiculous for you to tell your child, go and take your book and start studying, and you are in front of Nollywood.
That's it. I like that. That's it. Say it again. Say it again. Say it
It's so unfair and ridiculous for you to tell your child, go and study hard, and you sit in front of Nollywood. And the dad has his leg on the chair and reading the papers. And the siblings are on their phone doing whatever they're doing. The achievement of that child will be minimal. I'm serious. Will be minimal. What I teach and what I practice in my home is, if it's 2 hours of study for the child, everybody is doing something useful. I sit on my computer, I'm doing my research. My husband is an accountant, he sits on his computer, he's doing his client work. The children are on, people send their children to me in summer. Ask Jesus' wife, she knows me well, my house is open, I'm a mother of many. So when the children are on holiday, they send them to my house because they know their children will study in my house. So we all sit at the table, television off, phone on silence, and we do quality work for 2 hours. So when the family is studying with a child, do you think the child will not look and say, sometimes when my daughter was doing her GCSE, she would say, "Mom, go and sleep, it's okay." I said, no. When you're ready, I'll go and sleep. I'm okay, I'm not really sleepy.
Together with us.
We're doing this together. And when she rises up to sleep, I rise up to go and sleep. And part of the reason my daughter put so much effort into it was like, my mom and my dad have really, stood by me in this, even in the place of studying. She goes to school and my mom and my dad studies with me. They're like, "Study your study." I say, "No, they do their thing, but they study with me." And that enabled her to put in an effort. And she came out with a mind-blowing result. My daughter came out in her GCSEs with, she had 9 A stars and 2 A's. And that is joint work. It's not only a work, joint work. So I implore you, please, spend time. I know we have to cook and we have to do this. Do it at the weekend. Cook something basic. Men, please stop asking for this egusi and obono. Cook something basic that is quick. And if you have to cook all this long, our food takes so long to cook, do it at the weekend. But when the child comes back from school, I always say 2 hours. It's not. When most children come back from school at 4:30, and they go to bed 9, half 9. Look at all those long hours of doing nothing. Let's just take 2 hours every day when they come back from school. Maybe you come at 6:30. Put your bag down, 7:30 to 9. Maybe it's the study time in your home. Sit with the child. Let's study. You do your homework. I'm doing whatever. Even if you're on Facebook, just put your computer like that, so that the child does not see. But let's create an atmosphere of study. and we will see our children achieve. Like I said, I'll send you information of the seminars when we're having the seminars. And please come. Please come. Joel is an example, you know, of, you can't tell a story from, you know, the Gateway. We have other children that are in private education and they're not paying.
And I was even told that he's
an author. And that is one of the reasons I brought him here to meet Pastor Peter. He has written books that I have read. I have it in my house. So the Lord will help us. Thank you very much.
Put your hands together for Mrs. Ennie Shonibare. Wow, that was really mind-blowing. That was powerful. But now, just